The President. The Council now resumes the debate on dynamically planning and consolidating the sites to expedite the developments of the Northern Metropolis University Town. Mr. Rin Kong. President, I thank Mr. Edward Lau for moving the original motion and the other members for moving the amendments. According to the NM Action Agenda, post-secondary land use will be set aside in Ngau Town May, New Territories, North Newtown, and Hung Shui Kiu. Now, among them, only the 5 hectares in Hung Shui Kiu Ha Chun are at an advanced stage of development. Say, for example, the 14 hectares of sites in Hong Kong U can accommodate 40,000 students. Now, with just 5 hectares in Hung Shui Kiu, only a limited number of students can be accepted. Now, we can't just focus on the land use locally. We have to think about the need in the next 30 years. The entire development plan in Northern Metropolis must cater to industrial development as well. Now, the 5 hectares of spade-ready land in Hung Shui Kiu cannot achieve much. The uni towns will not just be the focus of education, they are also the growth engine for culture and economic development. In many other countries, uni towns play an important role in economic development. Now, by year 2020, the Australian government has signed an agreement with the Sydney University to establish a university town in Wellington. It is 200 hectares large, combining healthcare, research, technology, and education. Now, Silicon Valley is the most famous place in the world. It is the core of high-end and cutting-edge technology. It is supported by a university town comprising Stanford University and also UC Berkeley, as well as other world-famous universities. It is a 1,129 hectare large site surrounding San Francisco. It pulls together capital from the world. The spatial and positioning complexity far exceed traditional models. Now, the planning is important. With good planning, we are halfway there. If we are positioning ourselves to be an international education hub, we have to move away from the rigid mindset. We have to do better than coming up with a scattered, patch-up planning. We need to consider the entire ecosystem. With just 5 hectares of land, how many laboratories and how many R&D platforms can it accommodate? Very little. We can't even establish a comprehensive education chain from one university, not to mention many universities. Now, with just 5 hectares, we will be lagging behind. Once the uni town is completed, we will be losing out on the important window. A truly forward-looking planning approach would be considering how many patent rights can be created from every hectare of site, and also the per capita space available for each researcher and students. Now, we need to establish a closed-loop tripartite unitown embodying complex economic functions. Only then can we make Hong Kong an education port rather than an outdated, archaic education town. Now, this is a solemn promise to our future generation, I so submit. Professor Priscilla Leung. President, I speak in support of the motion moved by Mr. Edward Lau and the amendments moved by the 2 members. Now, we need to plant tree saplings to have shelters. Now, I'm pleased to hear that the number of primary 1 students enrollment has increased. I believe that is because of more families coming to Hong Kong under our talent schemes. However, to retain talents, we need to keep their hearts in Hong Kong. Now, if you look at famous university towns in the world, they need to provide support for talents in terms of medical help, accommodation, and life. Now, our ancillary facilities in Hong Kong are not enough. Now, in the talent highlands in the country, land resources are abundant, and there are lots of international schools. Provincial governments in the mainland are well aware of this need of talents. So you need to tell talents that there will be a free train service of education in Hong Kong. Now, just like the Harris School in Hong Kong, which I was involved in approving, it is doing very well. Now, talents from Harvard are training because of the US government's policy. Now, the French government has been attracting those talents by investing more in attracting them. When we need cross-bureau and departmental efforts in this, I don't think the Education Bureau alone can achieve our goal. Now, I witnessed the growth of the city university. It grew out of a place with underwhelming economic activities, but with the existence and expansion of the Hong Kong CTU, the economic activities in the area have become more vibrant. Young people are finding opportunities in the area. Now, we always say that we need to partner up with mainland partners to go global. The same applies to the university town. We need to collaborate with the famous universities in the mainland. Now, we have a lot of advantages, for example, our freedom and also our languages and culture. But there are many other things. For example, you need to advertise your products. And we need a large market. There is a report that a famous international school is collaborating with a mainland school to expand its presence in the mainland. So in Hong Kong, we need public-private partnership. The same applies to the mainland. There are lots of private post-secondary institutions who would like to use Hong Kong as a catalyst. We have our own talents, and we are also attracting a lot of talents to Hong Kong. If we can synergize our developments, we can progress in leap and bounds. Now, I support the original motion. However, Dr. Chow Kong deleted a line in the original motion that is launch expression of interest exercises for Northern Metropolis University Town developments at 3 sites. Now, this is not the time to conduct more surveys. We need to get things started. Now, like Ms. Rebecca Chan said, we don't have to partner up with first-class university only. The time has changed. In a lot of businesses like wine and dine, fashion chains, we can collaborate with these players as well. We have to step out of the comfort zone.
Mr. Tony Chair. Thank you, President. Last week, G19 members and I met with the Chief Executive. We submitted our proposals towards the 2024 policy address. We said that we have to develop education as an industry. We have to build a study in Hong Kong brand. so that we can drive the development of the Northern Metropolis. People often talk about INT when we speak of the Northern Metropolis. Of course, we have to develop this particular industry, but it takes time for us to see results. But in terms of education industry, we already have our advantages on it. As many members said, we have 5 top 100 universities, and very recently, the Trump administration prohibited universities from admitting non-local students. This is conducive to the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. As Mr. Chow said, we have to develop an education industry and a university town to attract more international students, academics, as well as research and development personnel. This will bring about opportunities to many different industries. So I don't think that by having the university town, the INT development will be undermined. Same as developing other industries, we need to have enough land for the education industry. The university town will be a place where we build campuses and R&D institutions. And this is also how we can commercialize our R&D outcome. Before the action agenda on the Northern Metropolis was promulgated, I asked the government to relocate campuses or universities in the local area or the urban area to the artificial islands or the Northern Metropolis. This allowed existing tertiary institutions to expand their campuses, enroll more students, and update their infrastructures. At the same time, they can vacate their current campuses for other facilities that will drive more economic benefit. As the Secretary for Development said, we have set aside 90 hectares in the Northern Metropolis for the university town. But as many members and people in the communities questioned, is this enough? Notwithstanding CUHK, which is of 100 hectares, many local universities are very small. Hong Kong USD is of 60 hectares, Hong Kong U 53 hectares. The smallest one, City University, is of 15 hectares. Many people questioned whether 90 hectares is enough for us to build a university town. And these 90 hectares are scattered in 3 different zones. Can we achieve economy of scale with such a size? And can we build enough shared facilities in a land of such a scale? I know that the Secretary for Development will continue to talk to the trade and the stakeholders to see if there is any room for adjustment or expansion. For sites near the university town, I think that the Secretary should consider rezoning them to provide for flexibility. Student hostels is also very important. That's why recently the Development Bureau launched a pilot scheme to allow hostels and industrial buildings to convert their premises into student hostels. I fully support it. The motion talked about the core concept of education, research, industry, and residence. I fully support that. How can we retain graduates to stay here and work? We have to solve their housing needs. And that's how we can achieve our goal. I hope that the 2 secretaries will look into the issue. Lastly, I hope that we can have also secondary schools in the university town. Next, Mr. Eric Kim, President. The Northern Metropolis is important for the future development of our city. We have to take advantage of our INT and R&D advantages so that we can contribute to our national development and INT. Mr. LAU Kwok-fan's motion on dynamically planning and consolidating the site to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town allows us to discuss about this issue. Now, on land development, I think that the administration should be innovative in their policies and take advantage of Hong LAU, which is more mature, to develop a consolidated education ecosystem integrating education, research, industry, and residents to enhance the competitiveness of our tertiary institutions. A day before, the administration has signed an agreement on the Northern Link together with the MTRCL. This is to implement the concept of infrastructure-led. I think that the administration should establish a Northern Metropolis University Town infrastructure working group to devise forward-looking plans. The group should encourage tertiary institutions in the urban area to relocate to the university town. On the operating mechanism of the town, I think that the administration should set aside 20 hectares near the university town for the use of the tertiary institutions. We should consolidate fragmented lands for land organization. I think that the administration should establish a dynamic land bank to review the progress of land consolidation and to accord priority to different sites to make sure that the demand of tertiary institutions in the university town is met. We need the administration to be innovative, to break new ground, to devise a forward-looking plan for the Northern Metropolis University Town. The administration should also encourage submission of expression of interest from tertiary institutions, top 100 universities from the world, and top-notch R&D institutions. We should create programs on, say, maritime, science, fintech, and programs alike that are in great demand in Hong Kong. We should also reserve land for the expansion of state-owned laboratories in the university town to promote the development of education economy. I so submit. I support Mr. Lau's motion and Ms. Chan Yuet-ming and Mr. Chow Kwok's amendments.
Mr. Brave Chan, thank you, President. I also thank the two secretaries for attending. Well, what you say here in front of me is that there should be expedited development of the Northern Metropolis. Hong Kong should be built into an international education hub. I thank Mr. Lau for his original motion as well as the two amenders. Presidency talks about building our country into an education powerhouse. This is an important drive to strengthen our economy. The chief executive, in each of his policy address, dedicated a chapter on education. He talked about building Hong Kong into an international tertiary education hub. This will connect Hong Kong with other parts of the world. It will also enable Hong Kong to contribute to the development of China. Well, we have 5 universities, that's the top 100, and 8 of them are in have very top rankings in QS. I'm not going to go into details. Here we talk about a development plan. I expect the Secretary for Education and the Secretary for Development to work together so that results will be delivered. Well, there is an outrageous president in the US chasing talents away. I'm sure that our universities will thank the secretaries. They have lost no time to send out invitations to students who have been affected. The site is not huge, but it has advantages. The first batch of land is available only in 2034, though. International talents may not want to spend time waiting. We need to expedite development. We need to compress the timetable. How do we do it? Well, my constituents, the CPPCC as well as the NPCSC, I'd like to report to you our views. The Northern Metropolis may not be the biggest in size. Hong Kong, it has an area of over 1,000 square meters. We are an international financial center as well as an INT center. We want to attract strong tertiary education institutes to draw talents, that is crème de la crème, to come to Hong Kong. We work to maximize our benefits. On one hand, we expedite the development. We see some universities identifying suitable sites in the urban area. The premises are acquired to expand. As the news has reported, the UST has acquired premises near here. In about 3 or 4 months, the premises will be put to use. That is an expedient way. The second way is that some laboratories might need to build up the facilities, whereas for other disciplines, as long as there is land, resources, and talents, they will take off. You can see that some talented students, once they have entered our universities, deliver result in no time. So I asked the 2 secretaries, the board of directors of universities to put in some efforts. The different disciplines can work together. Each university will offer the strongest discipline to form a dream team. If you keep them waiting for another day, the talents will go elsewhere. Whereas at the same time, if you send out invitations, they will be willing to come. So I ask the universities, different departments to consider my suggestions. Mr. Bill Tang. I thank Mr. Edward Lau for proposing this important topic. This is, on one hand, the development of the Northern Metropolis, on the other, the development of our tertiary education sector. I've visited a university in Shanghai. It is an institution that is in relation to finance. The location itself is very well connected. The Shanghai provincial government wants to turn Linhai area into a mini special administrative area. The area will be focused on digital finance. I talk about this particular financial education institution because it is a renowned institution. It's only of one block where students will carry out their activities there. They will have their classes there. But there is a mission. They make huge contributions to the development of this Linhai area. The tertiary institution is funded by the provincial government for 1/3 of the resources. 1/3 comes from a corporation. This is the Dishui Lake Financial Institution. Finance Institute, Shanghai University of Finance and Economics. I think we can draw reference from this when we talk about the university town here. We welcome prestigious universities to establish their presence here. But what is the mission of the university town here? How do we make it unique? I have some suggestions. We have to make sure that it relates to our strategic industries. I'm not from this sector, but I think that life science, healthcare have advantages in Hong Kong, from R&D to commercialization. And it said recently that at the Loop, there will be an exchange channel put in place in relation to data relating to life science. The Loop will focus on life sciences, life science technologies. Will there be institutions wanting to go there to establish a school there? Perhaps there can be a laboratory there as well. So we need to have a focus. The other way is to first run courses before you establish a school there. We have a lot of Grade A offices available in Hong Kong. The vacancy is quite high. In Kowloon East, there is a large amount of Grade A office buildings. It enjoys a very high grade in terms of energy conservation, that is beams plus. Perhaps these premises can be used. As I said, that Dishui Lake Advanced Finance Institute is something like this. Perhaps they will first establish a presence here to run courses, and then they will build a school in the Northern Metropolis. And the way to run courses can be of different ways. Say, for example, the COHK. There is an institute on mathematics. It's run by a very renowned mathematician. If it is under the name of a renowned mathematician, of course, that will attract students to come to Hong Kong. So that's my suggestion. Mr. Tang Fei. I speak in support of Mr. Edward Lau's motion. One point of my manifest is to build Hong Kong into an international tertiary education hub. The Northern Metropolis is an important strategy to achieve this goal. The development of the university town should be comprehensive. We should not focus on the mere size of the land. We don't have to go to renowned education institutions. We see that the size of university town is increased from 80 to 90. Let's now talk to Peking University, 270 hectares. And Tsinghua is 480. Singapore, their main university is 150. And there is another university that's quite well known. It's 200 hectares. Compared to first-class universities in nearby areas or in our country, you see a huge difference. So if we focus only on the physical size of the area, we are unable to catch up. There are two renowned universities in Singapore. They don't just rely on their vast size. They leverage on a high-level, high-quality collaboration. The experience of Singapore tells us that the success of a university town is not just about land. There is the promotion of collaboration of research in the industry, as well as the academics, as well as attracting quality students and institutions. We need to have collaborated development of education, research, and industry. We want to combine the Northern Metropolis University Town with nearby industries. It's just like a Stanford University. Next door is Silicon Valley. At the beginning, Silicon Valley relied on Stanford University to grow. The university town also enables Hong Kong to change our brand to study in Hong Kong brand. We have high quality students from the mainland, but you want to attract students from other parts of the world. We need to draw reference from the UK. Overseas students of the UK has brought over 38 billion pounds every year. If we have good facilities, then we will be able to attract overseas students. The Education Bureau is consulting tertiary education institutions about University Town. They said that next year there will be an overall conceptual framework formulated. Well, the market should be the focus. When we're seeking expression of interest from institutions, then we need to consider how much land will be used for teaching, how much for R&D, how much for accommodations, dormitory, how much for overseas institutions, and how much for local ones. Through expressions of interest, we gauge the market needs. It's not that we do everything behind closed doors, ignoring what's going on outside. Market, it gives us a very important indicator. We're not just talking about the size because we don't have an advantage there. We have to think out of the box. We need to focus on the integrated development of academics, research, and industry. We need to focus on the study in Hong Kong brand. We need to make use of market forces. If we can do that, I believe that the development will be more efficient.
Mr. Chu Kwok-fan. Thank you, President. The Northern Metropolis Uni Town will become the highlight of our brand as an international educational hub. It will also be the growth engine for Hong Kong's economy. I thank Mr. LAU for moving the motion and the two members for their amendments. Next year, the Education Bureau will publish the University Town Development Conceptual Framework. Priority will be given to the Hung Shui Kiu Ha Chun area. More land will be allocated for the Uni Town's use. I support it. It is the first piece of puzzle in the Northern Metropolis. Now, the size allocated is just 5 hectares large. The size is similar to that of Baptist University, where there have been criticism of lack of space for expansion. Now, it will affect the willingness of world-renowned university to set up branches in Hong Kong. Now, the 46 hectares reserved in Yau Town May will tie in with the I&T developments in the 17th Tenopole. Now, in recent years, there are a lot of examples of universities running science parks. For example, we have the Tsinghua Science Park, Zhejiang University Science Park, and also the ETFL Innovative Park run by Luzern University. Now, these science parks can combine the strengths of the industry's prowess and the academia's knowledge. We can learn from this collaboration model. Now, the Centennial Pole should become a science park led by our local universities. The profits from commercialization of products can subsidize the construction costs of the school campuses. Now, about the 40 hectares large land reserved in Taguling, they will combine with the development of modern industries like advanced logistics and advanced manufacturing. Now, experimental facilities should be established by involving universities so that they can play a larger role in the development of the Northern Metropolis. Now, in face of the fiscal pressure we are facing, we have to adopt a phased approach in developing the Northern Metropolis University Town while harnessing the private financial markets. Otherwise, the burden on the government will be too large. There should also be an objective selection mechanism. There must be a mandatory requirement of investment by overseas universities. Now, the conceptual framework must provide a sustainable and viable financial model for funding the establishment of the Unitown. Now, I support the idea of industry-led development approach so that industry and academia can complement each other's development. Professor Lau Kwok-fan. Thank you, President. I speak in support of Mr. Edward Lau's motion on dynamically planning and consolidating the sites to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town, as well as the amendments. Now, the Northern Metropolis is a key component in the GBA and also the new hub for our future development. Building a uni town in the area is not just a milestone for our post-secondary education sector, but also an important step to building a talent highland and integrating into the national development blueprint. Now, there are three major points in the original motion. Three keywords: planning, consolidating, expediting. So I will speak from these three perspectives. I have four proposals. First, according to the development blueprints of our post-secondary education sector, we need to allocate the land according to the needs of each institution in all three districts. The 8 universities and also the other self-financing institutions should be allocated land accordingly. Secondly, we need to consolidate the sites. We need to consolidate sites to promote developments of one university. We can move a university into the area, or we can have a new 9th university so that we will have our 6th top 100 world ranking university in the future. 3, rather than consolidating, we can select the subjects or programs or research projects with the highest potential, which align with our positioning and have synergy with other projects in the GBA into the Unitown. We should focus on high and advanced technology to support industry development. Fourth, we need to go global and reach out. Now, rather than allocating resources to our own university or moving a university into the Unitown, or we can have a large research base in the Northern Metropolis town, or we can invite world-renowned university from the mainland or the world to establish a branch in the Unitown themselves or in collaboration with our local universities. Now, these 4 directions embodies the idea of consolidating, expediting, and planning. Now, there are different pros and cons. Now, for the first one, we can just call it a day because it's very easy. You just need to allocate the sites to the 8 universities after negotiating a figure with them. That's the easiest and less resistance pathway, but that is the one proposal with the lowest cost effectiveness. So I wonder how you can move the university in Prof to the Northern Metropolis. How can you achieve dynamic planning with two places so far apart? Now, we always say that according to the QS ranking, we are the only city with 5 top 100 world ranking universities in the world. Now, but we have 8 universities. What about the other 3? That's because of lack of economies of scale. Now, my third proposal is brilliant. The most successful research projects are those run by universities. So if we give them space, they can thrive in the Northern Metropolis. Now, my fourth proposal may prove to be difficult. We need the secretary to persuade world-renowned universities to come to Hong Kong. You have to give them a reason. Now we have to develop the Northern Metropolis Uni Town. Thank you. Mr. Yuet-ming, thank you. Now the 20th Central Party Conference said that we have to develop ourselves into a talent highland, an educational hub. Now we need exchange and interaction with the world to do this. We have to make the best use of the land and new population in Northern Metropolis and the transportation network to develop a close tie with the mainland in terms of educational development. We need to enhance the quality and quantity of our developments. We have high hopes for the Unitown. No one will object to the expeditious development of the Unitown, but how can we do so in the most cost-effective way? I have 3 proposals. First, prioritizing infrastructure. According to the NM Action Agenda, the metropolis will be developed under an infrastructure-led model. Railway will be the backbone. There are 13 major transportation modes, including the New Territories Northeastern Link and also the Western Rail Link and so on. Traveling to and fro the Northern Metropolis will be convenient. However, in the past, we have some bad experience. We have to make sure that they don't happen again. Now, to achieve the goal of establishing ourselves as an international hub, we need to attach priority. Now, we are going to build a 3rd medical school. We need to cast our eyes further. Besides boosting the number of doctors, we have to position ourselves as the leaders in terms of life and health science. Now we need to establish a collaborative system with other schools. We need to attract world-renowned professors and students to come to Hong Kong to conduct research. There must be mutual recognition of our degree awards. 3, we need to be industry-led. Now, the original vision is integrating living education, research, industry, and residents. Now, I think we should attach priority to industry. Now, industry, research, education would be a better order. Industry should be driving technological innovation from a bottom-up approach. So we need to attach importance to allocating land to industry. Now, I have 2 reminders for the government. First, we need to be expeditious. Now, there are some 19 post-secondary institutions submitting expression of interest to the government. However, the development conceptual framework will only be available next year. We are very eager to see it sooner. 2, we need to pull together our strengths. we need to pull universities and industry strings together. Many universities are interested to enter the uni town. Now, there are many worries that the government would try too hard to please everyone. Now, we need to pull together the strength of the elites, which can't divide the pie equally. Thank you.
Mr. Holden Chow. President, I thank Mr. LAU Kwok-fan for moving this motion on dynamically planning and consolidating the site to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. I thank the other members for moving the amendment. I have to declare interest. I am a director of the Hong Kong UST. Many members said how we have to select the best tertiary institutions to establish campuses in the university town. I fully agree with that. I believe that the sites in the university town should be reserved for renowned international university. These universities may collaborate with local tertiary institutions to set up a campus there. Instead, or we should not be having branch campuses of local tertiary institutions in the university town. This is not the way to go. We have the support of our motherland. We are well connected to the rest of the world. We want to develop education as an industry and build a study in Hong Kong brand. To achieve these goals, we must work with overseas tertiary institutions. Only by this can we attract both mainland and international talents to come. So I think that we should use this piece of land to encourage renowned universities from other countries to establish their presence here. They can work with local universities. Second, during the planning process, many stakeholders have submitted proposals. But I said before, on our planning, say for example, for a new industrialization, as I've said to the Development Bureau, most stakeholders would rather you give them a piece of land for them to plan for the types of premises and facilities to put there, instead of having the administration to ask them to build what kind of buildings or facilities. Because we're in a competition. If we don't do it, other countries and places would try to attract the same talents and universities. I think that we should give developers flexibility. Now for this Northern Metropolis University Town, there is this Hong LAU Kwok-fan NDA, which is more mature in terms of its development, so I'd like to focus on it. There will be professional services available and residential developments in Hong LAU, and there will be a rail link linking the Hong LAU with Shanghai. I think that there should be a comprehensive transport network in Hong LAU. Apart from the Hong LAU rail link linking Sunny Bay and because this is how we can allow mainland talents or overseas students access different districts within the new development area. On behalf of DAB, I have been meeting with foreign chambers of commerce. They fully support the development of a university town in the Northern Metropolis. If we want to attract international talents, we have to help them identify school places for their children. Do we have enough places in the international schools for these children of the talents? I asked stakeholders if they like to see international schools in the Northern Metropolis. They said that they need to know if there are jobs nearby. I so submit. Ms. Lydian Kwok. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. LAU Kwok-fan for moving the motion on dynamically planning and consolidating the site to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. University Town should be about academic excellence, integration of education, research, and institution, cross-disciplinary collaboration. We should have University Town as a hub to pull together talents and knowledge, and we should consolidate our status as international post-secondary hub. I think that the administration should plan early on what types of tertiary institutions we're going to have and what kind of programs we're going to provide. For example, fintech, life and health science, and what kind of skills we need to nurture. Northern Metropolis University Town is the core engine for the development of new quality productive forces. Education can play the lead in this area. I think that there is endless possibilities to this university town. The administration should encourage the community to participate in the development of the university town. We can take the Singapore Airlines and the National University of Singapore as an example. They built a laboratory together. We should encourage tertiary institutions to build cutting-edge technology, say, for example, like bioscience laboratory, to flexibly use resources. The government can consider also conduct an in-depth assessment on the university town to set out what types of technology we're going to focus on, say, for example, chips, AI, and so on and so forth. At the same time, the government should set aside enough sites for business tertiary institutions collaboration. Say, for example, there were some mainland universities that work with a medical institutions on the mainland to build a base there. The enterprise asked the schools, say, for example, to develop software for them to use. This is how we can commercialize our R&D outcome. We have to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. This is how we can drive the development of the Greater Bay Area and how we can better integrate into national development. This is how we can also strengthen our role as a superconnector. We should leverage all this opportunity to promote a mutual recognition of qualifications in the Greater Bay Area, to promote a two-way flow of capital and talents. Now, in terms of land planning, we have to have shared facilities and open space as well as residences to attract mainland and foreign talents to come here for exchanges and work here for good. We have 5 of the top 100 universities. According to the latest study, there are 2 more universities that have joined the rank. This shows the strengths of our tertiary sector. I think that by having the university town, our status as international post-secondary education hub can be further consolidated. We have to expedite the development of the university town. We have to implement the integration of education, research, and industry so that our tertiary institutions can upgrade and transform. We should avoid fragmented development so that we can develop new industries. We have to nurture talents, commercialize our R&D outcome. All these areas are connected, and this is how we can attract top-notch talents to come to Hong Kong, so that our university town will be the incubator for the development of Hong Kong as an international post-secondary education hub. Mr. Kennedy Wong. President, first of all, I support the original motion and the amendments. I have to declare interest. I am a chairman of a committee and of the Hong Kong Baptist University. I am also a member of the Northern Metropolis Advisory Committee. I see that many government departments and bureaus have been working on expanding the scale of the Northern Metropolis University Town. I'm glad to see that, because being an international post-secondary education hub is conducive to our development. 90 hectares have been set aside for the university town, but only 5 hectares can be used in next year. Ngau Tan Mei and New Territories North New Town, they altogether comprise of 86 hectares. It will not be farmed until 2029 or 2030. I think that, therefore, the administration should have different plans for these 3 sites. In the 2 sessions in March this year, President Xi talked about 3 directions for future development: AI, quantum science, and biotechnology. We can work on the 5 hectare in Hong Shui Kiu very soon, but for the rest in Ngau Tan Mei and New Territories North New Town, we have to think about how we can plan for these sites so that we can complement national development in the 3 areas that I mentioned. I think that we should strengthen collaboration among different tertiary institutions to achieve synergy. In May, the Secretary of Education replied to members' oral questions by saying that they will encourage local tertiary institutions to work with foreign institutions on a self-financing basis to develop more programs. They have 4 different directions. They will develop Hong Kong into an international post-secondary education hub aligned with national development strategies and adopt this infrastructure-led step-by-step approach. I believe that these strategies will serve different purposes. As the size of the university town is rather small, each institutions may only have 2 to 3 hectares to develop. So there has to be shared use of resources and cooperation among different institutions to create synergy. Some universities want to create doctoral degrees for knowledge transfer. They want to strengthen integration of education, research, and industry, and have more exchanges with other institutions. We have to designate a industry cluster for different pieces of land. We have to have a comprehensive ecosystem in the same piece of land for its healthy development. In the amendment, it is said that we have to speed up commercialization of R&D outcome. There is this idea, there's this office of KTO, Knowledge Transfer Office. I think that we should have such an office in the Northern Metropolis University Town so that we can have a consolidated management of IP and patent to see what IP can be commercialized. We welcome local tertiary institutions for working with for overseas universities, because University of Chicago created a campus here as well. Thank you.
Mr. Andrew Lam, thank you. First, I thank Mr. Edward Lau for moving the original motion. Land is precious in Hong Kong. Planning of a new development area carries with it a lot of aspirations. Dynamic planning is a necessary strategy. But there is competing demand from different industries. So it is not a zero-sum game. Northern Metropolis itself is not enough, so we should not abandon the CHOW reclamation project. We also have to monitor if there is any available land in Hong Kong. Northern Metropolis will be industry-led. Education is an industry where we enjoy an advantage. Of course, it will take the lead. This is not an exercise of enclosure. Industries need education as well as projects. If you want to implement a project, you need funding as well as manpower. But before that, you need to decide on the aim of the project. There is 90 hectares of land in the university town. How much will be for institutions to expand? How much will be for new entries? How much will be for collaboration? Will there be sufficient reserve of these institutions to start a new project? We don't know any of the details, so we are not yet at the stage where we need to compete for talents or enterprises. We have a low birth rate. Primary, secondary schools face the same problem. It seems that if we use the old approach of land-led, the project will not be successful. We have 8 universities and 11 self-financing institutions. We have the smallest institutions, that's 2,000 square meters, and the largest, that is the CUHK. They never said that they have sufficient land. I think that they need to find the right focus. CUHK Hospital is an important project. When they have problems operating in operation, it's not the Secretary for Education who come to Let's Go to answer questions. 3 years ago, we have provided $400 million to the Hong Kong UST for a research center. We now hear about UST spending $350 million to buy premises in Admiralty. I was involved in funding and land allocation to tertiary institutions. I've been hearing about inadequate land availability. Sometimes it's because the government doesn't have supporting measures or the institutes themselves don't want to do it. Well, now barriers have been removed. Commercial buildings and hotels can be turned into dormitories. I'm sure that we will see results soon. The property market is in the doldrums. I'm sure that universities and institutions will be able to find premises in Hong Kong. The development of the Northern Metropolis needs a clear positioning. We need a closer interaction with industries. It should not be fragmented. We need to be persistent. Otherwise, the industries will not be properly developed. We also have to take into account population policy as well as funding support. We need to lay a good foundation. I speak in support of the motion as well as the amendments. Mr. Benson Look. I thank Mr. Lau for moving the motion. This is on dynamically planning and consolidating the site to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. Back in 2021, the government announced the development plan of the Northern Metropolis. In October 2023, the action agenda was promulgated. It's clearly announced that there will be a university town in Ngau Tam Mei, Hong Q as well as NT North New Town. The size is increased from 80 to 90 hectares. There will be places for 38,000 students and dormitory places for 20,000 students. A number of universities and tertiary institutions have indicated that they would like to build a branch campus there. Universities and institutions would like to attract more overseas students as well. I believe that the university town will be a key attraction. The number of overseas students will increase. It's planned that in the first half of 2026 that there will be the conceptual framework announced. I support the proposal, and there should be a dynamic planning. I have some suggestions. In a panel meeting when we discussed about the university town, the administration indicated that the plot ratio is 3, for residential is 6. Well, it's my experience that some sites started off with University of Education in use, and then it morphed into something else later. I think that the plot ratio should be suitably relaxed. Flexibility should be given to institutions to maximize the plot ratio or reserve land for future development. This will give development their flexibility. A number of institutions have indicated an interest. When it comes to the overall plan, there are no details, so everything is paused. The government should expedite the publication of the conceptual framework. The development direction and details should be made public. We need to have good connectivity as well as well-established infrastructure. The railway service is a key. I hope that the administration will ensure that transport connectivity will be materialized in time. I speak in support of the motion and the amendment. Ms. Eunice Young. I speak in support of Mr. Lau's motion. This is dynamically planning and consolidating the site to expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. Well, we keep hearing that other universities are those of top 100 in the world. There is an increasing demand for university places, but we don't have sufficient land. These are obstacles to the enhancement of our competitiveness. This time we talked about how to build a university town in the Northern Metropolis. How can we release the potential of land resources? This is a breakthrough when it comes to education. The university town is a new platform. It's not just about building new campuses and facilities. When it comes to sharing of resources, I think it is the right direction. Mr. Lau talked about a number of points. Well, he said that Hong Q Ha Chun will be ready first, so development should start first there. I agree. We need to prioritize development. It will be a more effective planning and use of the opportunities there. It will be a new approach. How do we ensure that planning is done well? The government will announce a conceptual framework soon. How do we promote a collaboration of different sectors? It's for the government to work on. The government needs to draw reference from overseas experience. They need to think out of the box. What kind of university town do we need? Let's look at other places. In Singapore, there is the one-off technology city. Government departments, startups have been brought together. Flow of elements has been promoted. We need to adopt a new approach. We need to have an open university town. We need to ensure there is a good flow of information. Someone mentioned about this. The proportion of residential buildings, a possible relaxation of building height. Perhaps the university can boost the development of other industries, say for example the property industry. There is a huge interest in the university town because the community itself will create a good environment for children to grow in. So how can there be a seamless integration of commercial, residential, education, and other land use? It's for the government to think about. We need to have co-sharing office space, venture capital presence, as well as share labs. We need to give students opportunities to learn and work at the same time. We see that there is demand from overseas as well. We need to try to attract postdoctorate experts from around the world and from the mainland to come to Hong Kong to promote knowledge exchange. There can be a meta campus making use of AR, AI for students as well as researchers in other parts of the world to work together. The site is at the gate of the GBA. It is also a good platform of collaboration in the loop. There can be joint lab, accelerators. We also need to seize the opportunities of dual circulation. We need to attract universities and enterprises from RCEP, ASEAN. We build Hong Kong into an I&T center. We need to enhance our competitiveness. The university town is not an expansion of campuses. We need to bring together communities, R&D, I&T, that creates plenty of opportunities.
Mrs. Regina Eve. Thank you, President. I also thank Mr. Edward Lau for moving the motion so that we can discuss the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town. Having heard the many members, there are several concerns that is too slow. We are always striving for more expeditious development. And second concern being the size. What can we achieve with just 5 hectares of land in Hung Shui Kiu? Now there are 46 and 40 hectares of sites in Yaotan Bay and New Territories North New Town. We may be able to build a further medical school, but that is not enough even for that purpose. As a member from the Prof constituent, the medical school has been converting some spaces into student hostel, so there is a shortage of land for teaching facilities. Land is such a scarce resource in Hong Kong, so I wonder what we can achieve with just 5 hectares of land. I'm pleased to see that the Secretary for Education here. Secretary for Development is just responsible for providing land. The policy for developing the Uni Town is under the purview of the Education Bureau. So we have to sort out the policy intent and the policy objective of the Uni Town. Is it for making a profit from students, or are we aiming as the promotion of new quality productive forces to sustain our economic growth? If we're just looking for quantity rather than quality, then our brand as a quality education city will be gone. Now, we shouldn't always boast how many universities we have among the top 100 ranking. It's just a game of metrics. In terms of selectivity, your ranking will drop if you enroll students without selection. Now, the most selective university only take in a very small number of students, so we have to be careful. Third, if we want to tie in post-secondary education with industry developments, we need to attract the most elite researchers. I can tell you my experience in the States. Now, the research projects in graduate schools attract the top elites in the field. How do they do that? First, they are aiming after the future Nobel laureates. They know these researchers are going to get the award someday, so they would provide all the things they need, even a job for their same-sex partners. And then they would look for the best students. I have a friend who is a graduate from Stanford. Now, they are now teaching in the Chinese university. They are the best scholar in terms of life and health technology. Now, they would be paid a handsome sum of money to tour around the university in the States to draw for the best students. So these are the directions we need to take. We need to find the most famous professors who are going to be Nobel laureates, and we need to draw for the best students. We shouldn't aim at profit. If that's the case, we cannot keep our brand. And land is always in shortage. Like Mr. Andrew Lam said, in the future, we may have to implement reclamation. We can make the KYC an educational island. We can attract the best talents from the world to Hong Kong if we can sort out the policy goal. That's the Education Bureau's job. Are we focusing on quality growth or just profits? We should have a long-term strategic perspective. Thank you.
Does any other member wish to speak? Mr. LAU Kwok-fan, you may now speak on the amendments. Thank you, President. I have heard from 35 members who have spoken. I thank the two members for their amendments to my original motion. The amendments improves the operability of the policy plan. It also gives us additional ideas to ponder on. It also enriches the concept of education, research, industry, and residence. I'm a board member of the COHK. We have a number of experts here. I want to tackle this from the perspective of planning. I thank members for supplementing on different perspectives. I now speak on the two amendments. First, the one from Ms. Chen Yuet-ming. The the synergistic development of the town, the university town with industry land. I support Ms. Chan's amendment. To consolidate land is to boost the core concept, where we want to give more land for research, communities, as well as education. Well, there is the Loop, there is the Santin Technopole, as well as the Takulang New Development Area. There'll be different industries and enterprises there. If we are to develop the university town, if we have to have education research industry and residents working in collaboration, we have to decide where to put our university there, where to put our universities and where to put the industries. It's all interlinked. Where education boosts industries and industries boosts education. Well, we need to remove barriers to enhance the knowledge transfer. I think this will work to our advantage. Mr. Chairman Kwok's amendment talks about the demand from non-local students. He also elaborates on measures to attract talents. I do agree that education works hand in hand with talent. I agree with his amendments. I also think that we need to expedite development of the Northern Metropolis. We face keen competitions in terms of talents. We do need to expand our capacity to receive more talents. We need to attract them. We need to keep them here because they are also part of our growth engine. We now have the planning of the Northern Metropolis. As the two secretaries said, there can be a dynamic planning. The development of the university town is important to the Northern Metropolis. It's a key area. It's not to marginalize the university town. We need to put it there to release the full potential of the site. We should not just think about building facilities. We need to have supporting facilities, I&T platform, supporting measures for industries as well as manpower. Yes, we understand that the Northern Metropolis is for industries. In addition to attracting successful enterprises, we want to develop local R&D in industries. We don't know how much time it will take. But when it comes to healthcare as well as education, we know that we have earned international recognition. If we can expedite the development of these two industries, it will help the development of the Northern Metropolis. The university town is not just about education. Well, talents as well as these teaching staff will support property development. Well, three major property transactions are related to education. The university town will support professional services. It will release the land potential. And as I said, that the people who study and work there will also support consumption. I hope that everyone will support my motion as well as the amendments, so that we can further the development of the Northern Metropolis. I so submit.
Secretary for Education. President, I once again thank Mr. LAU Kwok-fan for moving the motion, Ms. Chan Yuet-ming, Mr. Chairman Kwok for moving the amendments. I'd also thank other members for putting forward their insightful ideas on how we can improve and expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis University Town to promote the integration of government, industry, education, research, and business, nurture and attract talents. As I mentioned in my opening remarks, Hong Kong has the unique advantages of having the support of motherland and being connected to the world. Under the Northern Metropolis Action Agenda, we have put forward a series of specific development goals. In addition to developing land and housing, promoting the development of innovative and technology and other industries, we have set aside 5 hectares of land in the Hongshui-Kyohachi New Development Area. To dovetail with the goal of developing a post-secondary education hub, we actively encourage tertiary institutions to strengthen collaboration with renowned mainland and overseas institutions, enhance synergy through sharing resources and industrial linkage, and attract more overseas academic and research talents to Hong Kong. Mr. Lau's motion and the amendments, as well as other members, talked about how we should increase the size of the university town and speed up its development. In this regard, the government will review our land use planning and development parameters in a timely manner in response to the latest social and economic developments, and taking into account opinions of all sectors, we may revise the relevant plans when necessary. If an institution requires a larger land area than the existing sites and meet relevant considerations, including feasibility, cost effectiveness, and how to make good use of existing campus facilities and public resources, the Education Bureau will review with relevant policy bureaus to see whether there is any room for revision. My colleagues are working intensively to prepare the Northern Metropolis University Town Conceptual Development Framework and strive to have it announced and promulgated as soon as possible in the first half of 2026. Depending on the progress of planning, we will invite qualified post-secondary institutions to submit expressions of interest. In terms of promoting close integration of government, industry, academia, research, and business in order to enhance Hong Kong's competitive advantage in cooperation with the development of innovation and technology, the government has stepped up its support for research work in the higher institution sector. We have launched a new round of research matching grant scheme with a total of $1.5 billion. In terms of nurturing startups, the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks and Cyberport has provided a full range of support services for startup. In terms of building an innovation ecosystem, the ITIB launched a Raise Plus program with a total amount of $10 billion to subsidize industry university research collaboration. In terms of building an international platform, the Inno Hong Kong project launched by the ITIB supports the world top-notch scientific research institutions and technology companies to come to Hong Kong to conduct more R&D projects with local universities and research institutions. In terms of nurturing and attracting scientific and technological talents in order to strengthen the mechanism for building an integrated and coordinated promotion of education, science, and technology talents proposed in the master plan on building China into a leading country in education, the government has established the Committee on Education, Technology, and Talents led by the Chief Secretary for Administration. As a metropolis with a unique blend of Chinese and Western culture, Hong Kong attracts a large number of top scholars with rich international experience. The high degree of internationalization has laid a solid foundation for Hong Kong's academic and research excellence. For foreign talents who like to come to Hong Kong for research and study, we have offered substantial support. According to the latest figures, many tertiary institutions have received a double amount of enrollment from non-local students. Great achievements are made with ambition, and great success is achieved with hard work. In the next 10 years, the country will develop education at a high speed, and Hong Kong education will also usher in a golden period. Hong Kong's universities will continue to implement the strategy of invigorating our country through science and technology, lay a solid foundation for building a leading country in education. Thank you, President.
Secretary for Development. President, once again I thank Mr. Edward Lau for moving the motion, and also Ms. Chen Yuet-ming and Dr. Chow Kong for their amendments. I also thank the other speakers who have spoken today and yesterday for their views. In terms of land planning, many members asked questions on 3 areas. First, speed. Second, expansion. 3, ancillary facilities. In terms of speed, the 5-hectare large site for the Unitown in Hung Shui Kiu will be completed first. It is expected that site formation will be completed as soon as next year for campus construction work to start. For the 2 new development areas in Ngau Tan Mei and New Territories North New Town, we will complete technical assessments promptly and strive to go through the statutory planning process and begin site formation work in earnest in 2027 and 2028 and 9. We have heard members' views that the timetable is not fast enough. However, we think that it also takes time for universities to raise funds and engage teaching staff and other talents. The Development Bureau and the Education Bureau are taking forward planning and land creation simultaneously. In the meantime, the Education Bureau will draw up the University Town Development Conceptual Framework as soon as possible, so that during land creation, potential universities can make plans for entering the uni town when site formation work is completed. We will continue to communicate with the post-secondary education sector to explore whether there is a need to further enlarge the sites allocated to them. In terms of capacity and expansion, there are two areas of views. First of all, whether we can further extend or expand the 90-hectare large sites allocated to uni-town purpose, and also whether we can enlarge the sites available in Hon LAU. Now, planning is a dynamic process. We have to give regard to societal and economic developments and conduct timely review on planning matters in relation to scales of land and development parameters. If necessary, more land can be allocated to university town purposes on top of the existing 90 hectares. Amendments can be made to the statutory plans of Hon LAU. If post-secondary education land use is already a permitted use on the expanded site we have chosen for Hon LAU, amendment is not even needed at all. Many sites in Hon LAU are planned for industrial park and commercial land use. Education use is already permitted. For Ngau Town May and New Territories North New Town, the statutory planning procedure has not started yet. The freedom we enjoy is even greater. On that, the Development Bureau and the Education Bureau will maintain a close communication on that. As I've mentioned, schools also need time to formulate plans for the future. So we definitely don't want to see that the schools are not ready when the sites are ready, or the other way around. On that, many members have put forward their views. If those scenarios I mentioned happened, temporary measures will have to be implemented. Now, I like how members describe the cooperative relationship between the Development Bureau and the Education Bureau. We will remove red tape together. This demonstrates how government bureaus are working together to come up with plans. In terms of auxiliary facilities, many members mentioned that education is not the sole purpose of the Unitown. There must be ancillary facilities in terms of accommodation, community facilities, sites for industries, and also convention and exhibition venues for the products. That's why we say there is much potential in developing a Unitown in the Northern Metropolis. Now, under our planning philosophy, we will not set up boundaries and limitations for the Unitown land use. We hope that we want to offer more freedom to universities on how to use the land, and we want to facilitate them. Beyond Unitown, in the neighboring areas, we will also provide ancillary facilities for the universities. For example, the 40-hectare large Unitown site in Ngau Town May. Well, adjacent to the site, there is site available for a residential development on a par with the scale of Taikushing. Now for the new territories North New Town, near the Unitown site, we can offer some 5,000 to 6. We have set aside sites for providing 5,000 to 6,000 private residential units. Now for industry supporting facilities, the site in Hon LAU Kwok is located right in the middle of the commercial site. For the site in Yaotown May, just a road apart, it is the Santin Technopole with an industrial focus. Now for the new territories North New Town, the Unitown site is located in the priority development area. In the same area, besides the sites for the Unitown, there is also some 30-hectare large sites for boundary commerce and a purpose, and also there are some more sites for enterprises. So Unitown will not be developed in silo. Members, there will be new land, new population, and a sprawling transportation network in the Northern Metropolis. There will be a large number of industries. It also enjoys close ties with the mainland. It is a precious opportunity for the post-secondary education sector to break new grounds. The government will seize the opportunity to further consolidate our position as an international educational center and burnish our brand to study in Hong Kong. Thank you.
Yuet-ming.
Now call upon Ms. Chen Yuet-ming to move an amendment. President, I move my amendment. I propose the question to you that Ms. Chen Yuet-ming's amendment be passed. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Professor Chairman Kwok, as the previous amendment is passed, you may move your further amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I propose the question to you that Professor Chairman Kwok's further amendment be passed. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Edward Lau, you have 34 seconds to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Mr. Lau. Thank you. The Northern Metropolis is a new growth engine of Hong Kong. University Town is an important part of this area. The University Town is important to Hong Kong as an international education hub. Well, using education research industry and residents collaborated development, it will be strong drive. It's not just that the 5 hectares of Hon LAU Kwok is not enough. We want the development of other areas to be expedited as well. Please stop. I now propose the question to you that Mr. Edward Lau's motion, as amended by Ms. Chen Yuet-ming and Professor Chairman Kwok, be passed. Those in favor, please raise their hands. Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each two groups of the members present. I declare the motion as amended passed. The meeting is adjourned. We will resume on the 16th of July, Wednesday at 11 a.m.